So, I'm pretty new to this Sony system. I mean, I've had it for about a month and a half now, and I'm still getting my feet wet and finding new features and fun things that I like to use in this camera. And I still haven't even got an autofocus lens yet. You saw my last video, you know it's coming. And maybe by the time you've seen this video, I already have that, so we could wipe that one off the slate for now. At this moment in time, I wanted to share with you my top 5 favorite features of the Sony A7 III. What's up, guys? And this past week, I Am Jason Anthony came out with a video on his channel about some of his favorite features on the A7 III, and I didn't even know some of those. So that was pretty cool, impressive. And if you haven't seen that video or you don't know about his channel, I'll shoot a link up in the corner for that video. You can check it out, and also put a link down in the description below to Jason's channel, and you gotta check it out. I mean, he had some really good tips for those features that he liked. Some of them I've never even heard of before, which is somewhat not surprising since I've only had this for about a month. Nonetheless, I don't think I would have ever found out about those had I not seen his video, because you gotta really dig into the menu for some of those things. And a few of them, you can only find it by assigning it to a custom button, so... Did I just give away one of my favorite features of the camera? I'm gonna go into my top 5 favorite features, and we're gonna just start off with number 1, the clear image zoom and the APS-C mode. And those are 2 ways that you can take your lenses and just make them spread even further. Say you have a prime you really like, maybe that 24mm prime, ooh, it's so great. You can use the APS-C mode and crop in on the sensor, so yeah, you're gonna lose some of your megapixels there, and if you're shooting an A7 III, you're gonna be bumped down to 12 megapixels, so you can, wisely choose when you want to use it for pictures and stuff like that. You can still use it for pictures, but if you're gonna do big blown up posters or something like that, you probably would stay away from it. If you're doing big blown up posters, you probably would have a A7RIII or something cool like that, but I'm too cheap to pay for that. You could do the APS-C mode and it'll extend your lens 1.5 crop, so you turn your 24mm lens into like a 35, 36mm, which is pretty cool. So I got my 28mm lens and I can get more out of this lens by using that. And on top of that, you can also use Sony's clear image zoom, or you can use one or the other. So say you don't want to lose the megapixel count and you want to take some photography, but you want to get a little bit more out of that lens, you can use clear image zoom to punch in on your image even more. And Sony claims that you're not losing any quality by using clear image zoom. I haven't really noticed any difference. What I do is I actually assign them to 2 different custom buttons, so I can engage them when I want to and get to them really quickly, because we know the top feature of the Sony system isn't the menu, as people have said. But there's ways around that. Keep staying in tune with this video. And the second feature that I use all the time, and I do it every single time I get into the studio in this setting, or really on any client work, and I've already done a video on this, so if you want to see it, I'll put a link in the corner of the video as well. But the custom white balance feature, I think that is awesome, where you can just hold out a gray card or whatever, take a picture of it. For me, I use the Gary Fong color correction kit, and it's really easy to store in your bag, and just, I don't know, it's round, and I feel like it gives me just a little bit better image than a flat surface card would. But if you want to see more about that, like I said, check the video out. You can save 3 different custom white balances. So the one thing that kind of threw me off is when I was trying to do it, and I was like, what the heck, why is it not working? I was in a video mode, so I throw my camera in manual, take the custom white balance, save it to custom white balance 1, 2, or 3, whichever one I want, and then I just go into video mode and recall that same white balance mode, and boom, I got my white balance set for the space. I don't have to deal with it in post too much. It just looks great right out of the camera, in my opinion. But so I use that all the time. It saves a ton of time, and I really like the image quality of the Sony, but the custom white balance helps a lot. And 3, the feature that I am using like crazy, especially because, thank you Sony, you don't have a flip out screen unless you have a 6400, which is a pretty awesome camera. is the app, and I use it for two reasons, two ways. Is so I can see myself, because it has a nice little, monitor screen you can pull up on my iPad, and I can see it. And two, I can transfer my images when I take pictures. If I want to, get my pictures and upload them to my phone or to upload them to my computer, I can just quickly, pull the camera out, connect my smartphone to it, and then shoot them over to my phone. With my phone, I can go AirPlay to my computer, whatever I want to do. But that's how I typically use that, and I love it. So not only can I use it as a monitor, but I can then press record when I'm sitting here in my YouTube studio. I don't have to reach around or reach over the camera and hit the button. I can just have it all here right in front of me on an iPad. I can even mess with the settings here and you wouldn't even know it. I can change the white balance, I can change the shutter speed, I can change my ISO right here. I can even change the movie mode. It's actually a decent app. I mean, the Panasonic one is still way better and way awesome. But this app isn't that bad. Like I said, my iPad's set up here, and I can see myself at least. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag, but like I said, I'm just using it to frame my shot and make sure everything looks good without having to reach on the camera. So that's one of my favorite features for sure. I don't think I could get by on this Sony system without a flip-out screen without this app, unless I went out and bought a monitor, which then you can't use face autofocus. So, and that leads me to feature 4, which is the custom buttons and the function menu. And you can customize that function menu, and I had no idea until I watched Jason Vong's video on his layout, and I really liked it. You can customize both those things, and it gives you a way quicker way to get to a lot of the features that you use. I mean, 4 custom buttons, C1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can even, customize the AEL button and all that stuff. Wow, there's just so many buttons you can customize. I mean, you can pretty much set this camera up to be whatever you want it to be as far as buttons goes. When you go into those custom assigns, man, you can just change everything about the camera and how it works, which is crazy. You can even, if you're used to shooting on a Canon, you can even change the dials. So, if you're used to it a certain way versus the Sony's default way, it's so customizable. And then the function menu, you can hit the function button and it pulls up a whole nother menu. You can have a whole nother set of different parameters that you want to get to really quickly. So man, you just gotta go through the settings and customize that to your heart's desire. Because if you're not using the custom buttons, man, they're awesome. I mean, that's how I get to my crop mode. I have a custom button for crop mode. I have a custom button for the clear image zoom. Got a custom button for the white balance. All these things just boom, you can get there really quickly, and they're things I use quite frequently, as I've kind of already gone through in this video. That leads me to 5, which is everybody hates on the Sony menu system, and I honestly don't understand why. For this feature alone, you can make your own menu system with, I don't know, 3 or 4 pages of favorite items that you use. It's the last thing in the menu, so if you just leave it on that and press menu, it'll always pop up to it. Man, it is awesome. I just put like my smartphone connect in there, so I don't have to sort through the menu and try to connect the smartphone. I put that in there. You could put the clear image zoom in there if you don't use it very often. You want to just get through it real quickly. You can literally do whatever. You put whatever feature in there you want. HDMI out, control. What goes out the HDMI and what things turn on and off. You can get to it so easily in your custom menu. So if you find things that you need a live stream setup or whatever, you need some features turned off, on or off, and you want to get to it quickly, just throw it in your favorites menu. Who cares where it is in one of the 5 or 6 tabs that Sony has on their camera? Just set it up yourself and stop crying about how bad the Sony system is. Just tweak it. I love that about it. It's so amazing, in my opinion. Why? No other camera company that I know allows you to customize the menu to whatever you want it to be. When my Panasonic, I just had to remember where everything was, and it wasn't as hard to get to it because it was easily laid out and it was a touch screen on the back, so you could easily get to it pretty quickly. But still, like, Sony is not that bad. You get that favorites menu and it just takes your whole camera to another playing field, in my opinion. Woo! I think the only feature that's missing on this A7 III that would get me through the day is a flip out screen, but we've already been through that plenty of times, and yeah. I hope you find all those 5 things very useful. I'm sure most of you are probably already using them, but those are 5 of my favorite features about the A7 III. I mean, I'm not even going to go into the autofocus, which is what really drove me over to the camera, but I was trying to go for more feature sets versus, like, you know, what it can do. Actually, I mean, obviously we love the 4K on this thing. We love the autofocus. The image looks beautiful. I don't care what anybody says. The colors look awesome out of this camera. I'm very happy I made the switch. So if you're on the edge, just go for it. I mean, yeah, the lenses are a little bit more expensive, but if you look at full frame lenses for the new Canon system, holy cow, you would feel a lot differently about the Sony. I feel like Sony glass is cheap now. I'm starting to ramble. I hope you liked this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the future. And that leads me to point 4. And that leads me to feature 4, which is the custom buttons and the function menu custom. And that leads me to function. I can't get this right.